Hello, my name is April Berquist, and this is my presentation on my community. My community is the small town of Albemarle, North Carolina. I lived in North Carolina ever since I was 9, but I've lived on the outskirts of the city. I just purchased a home and moved into the city of Albemarle. So I'm just now experiencing living in the city instead of just coming to visit to do the things that need to be done and then go back out to the suburbs. The city of Albemarle, its total population is 15,976 people. 99% of them are urban, with 1% in the rural area. Males are 46.5% of the population, leaving females at 53.5% of the population. The median age of the residents in the city of Albemarle is 40 years old. The average household income is $32,555, which I feel is rather low, but it is what it is. The average household size is 2.3 people per the house. The percentage of family households, 62%, and then unmarried households is 6.1%. This is the racial breakdown of the residents of Albemarle, leaving white 68%, African American at 21%, Hispanic at 3%, Asians at 3%, two or more races of 2.5%, and the American Indians are 0.02%. Education in this area, which actually surprised me with learning a lot of residents through networking. High school or higher is 76.5%, which I thought would actually be lower with the amount of the dropout rate increasing as it has been, but to my surprise, they've actually kept it under control for the most part. Bachelor's degree or higher is 19.5%, and then graduate school or higher is 5.8%. The crime rate in Albemarle doesn't seem to be very high. Through the research that I've done in 2013, which is the most recent information I can find on my area, murders were 1, rapes were 6, robberies were 19, assaults were 68, burglaries 265, thefts were 472, auto thefts were 45, and arson was 11. We have 80 people registered on the sex offenders list in Albemarle. So the crime rate doesn't seem to be too bad when it comes to, other than people stealing stuff. This is also surprises me, the religions and the amount, because you see churches on every corner and not all of them fall into the categories that show the most here, which just interested me. The employment information, driving through the town of Albemarle, you can actually see that the poverty level is rather high. There's only like one or two areas in the city of Albemarle that show that they're in high class or medium class. So there's not too many job opportunities around here. In order to get a decent job besides retail or factory, you have to travel to the big cities around us, which would be Charlotte or Concord. Salisbury, I guess, is a bigger city than ours. So important institutes in my area would be our hospital, Stanley Regional Medical Center. We have Monarch Healthcare. That seems to be like our biggest institute for mental health care. There's a few other ones. We have a GHA, which they mainly deal with autism. Those are like the two big ones. There are a lot smaller companies like the Butterfly House. That place deals with children with behavioral problems or maybe abused. And then we have the Stanley Community College, which is our only college in Albemarle. We have one nearby, Pfeiffer University, but then again, it's not in the city. Morrill Mountain State Park is a major institute because, I live not far from it, so it's very popular. Baden Road Drive-In is another popular institute that we have. It's because it's one of the few drive-ins that are still around. So, that's pretty unique. I enjoy having that in my area. The Stanley County Courthouse, of course, that's where a lot of the residents' monies goes for dealing with, speeding tickets and such. Our other institutes that we have are, like the shopping centers, Lowe's, Food Lion, Walmart, McDonald's, JCPenney's, Burger King. We do not have many in our area. We used to have a few more. Goodies we had was a clothing store that went out of business. JCPenney's actually is another clothing store that is fixing to go out of business in our area. We are just a small town. We have Gold's Gym, Big Lots, Holiday Inn, Office Max. Once again, we're just a small town. Like, there's 2 Food Lions on either end of town. The next big thing besides retail is factories. Factories is our next biggest employer in this area. So, we have, of course, a lot of lawyers and doctors and such, but job opportunities are just really hard to come by around here. I would not consider my community a good community. The resources of the community is just not sufficient to meet the needs of this community. Doing research into social services and stuff like that, a lot of people are needing resources like food stamps and help with their bills and help paying rent and stuff like that. In our community doesn't get the appropriate funds to help sufficiently. There's a lot of people going without. The schools in Albemarle are not rated well. I am firsthand dealing with this. I was going to school. I was taking my kids to a school in a different area before we moved, and the schools they're in now are just not well in the least, especially with dealing with their education. Their grades are doing excellent now, but that's because these schools are slower than the ones they were in, so they're relearning, and they've been relearning for the last 2 months what they already learned in their other school. The environments aren't well. The students are completely different. They're meaner, and it's a bad learning environment firsthand, which is what we experience. So I don't think the schools are very well at all. The safety of the area, it depends on where the neighborhood, which is like everyone else, depends on the neighborhood that you're living in. So we're luckily living in a good neighborhood, but not too far down from the school is a really, really bad neighborhood. So, and like I said already, there's not too many opportunities in this area. If you want jobs, you have to, go outside of this area to get them. So overall, I would not assess my community as a good community.